Am I the butthole for insulting my boyfriend's weight in front of his friends? Relevant to the story, my boyfriend is 6 feet, 183 centimeters and 229 pounds, 104 kilograms. I am 5'6", 168 centimeters and 120 pounds, 54.4 kilograms. From a medical standpoint, my boyfriend is obese, and I am a fairly normal weight. I really don't mind his weight. He was obese when I met him, and that wasn't a problem for me. He has struggled with his weight for many years and constantly talks about wanting to lose weight, but never actually diets, exercises. Again, not a huge deal for me, but I try to be supportive and offer him advice or general encouragement whenever he discusses his desire to lose weight. An occasional point of contention between us is that he has a tendency to offer me diet advice. For example, whenever I make a smoothie, he says, "You shouldn't drink those things. They're full of hidden calories." Or when I do strength training, he says, "You'll just gain weight because you'll put on too much muscle." It's annoying because nutrition and fitness are actually big passions of mine. I'm not an expert by any means, but I've done several courses and I feel I know more than the average person. Plus, I feel that I can demonstrably show that I can manage my own weight, so I don't like that he constantly feels the need to give me advice. This past weekend, he and I met up with a few of his mates at a beer garden. At some point, the guys were talking about their experiences with online dating. My boyfriend said that he'd used Tinder prior to meeting me, but that he deleted it because there were too many desperate fat chicks. He said this in such a disgusted, dismissive way, that I genuinely saw red for a second and just blurted out, "Seriously? You're going to criticize fat chicks?" There was a really long, awkward pause, and then one of his friends made a joke and the conversation sort of moved on, but my boyfriend didn't speak to me for the rest of the evening. He texted me the next day to say that it was incredibly rude and disrespectful to comment on his weight, especially in front of his friends. He says he thinks he wants a few days away from me to decide whether or not he can forgive me. I agree it was rude of me to call him out in front of his friends, but I also think what he said was obnoxious and borderline sexist. I've apologized to him, but I'm not sure if I'm genuinely the butthole here. Am I the butthole? Edit. Yeah, we broke up. I feel lighter. I was so ready with the alternative judgment but not the butthole. Maybe you could have phrased it differently, but I'm not surprised you were gobsmacked at the audacity and the double standard. He's allowed to prefer a type, but as you say, the disgust with which he expressed it would have upset me too. Original poster replies. That's true. His argument to me is that as his girlfriend, I shouldn't mention weight or anything demeaning about him in public. Original poster replies. Which I agree with, to a certain extent. It probably came across as if I were trying to belittle him in front of his guy friends. But the way he said it really upset me on a personal level, especially in context of his constant diet advice to me. I don't think he should be ashamed of his weight, but sometimes it feels like he's completely oblivious to it. Well, as your boyfriend, he shouldn't speak about women as if their only redeeming quality is their body. Would he be okay with you discussing how attracted you were to various men's bodies in the same setting? If you said something like, "If he doesn't have a six-pack, he's not worth my time." Not the butthole. It wasn't borderline sexist. It was just plain sexist. I know a guy who was certainly on the larger side and used to moan he was single. On the odd occasion I would suggest an intro to women I knew who had similar interests to him. He dismissed them as not his type because they were overweight, etc., and it was infuriating because he would just reduce these women to how much they weighed when he was hardly Brad Pitt himself. Edit typo. I also know for a fact that he would leave me if I ever gained weight. Original poster also states this in the comments below. The pure hypocrisy of this guy. I can't even. Oh girl, she needs to kick his butt to the curb. As if he would have the audacity to let her know he thinks of her for her looks over anything else. I'm so frustrated that she apologized and now he's giving her the "I need to decide whether I can forgive you" treatment. You should apologize for calling me out and holding me accountable for my crafty behavior. Yeah, this is not the guy for our original poster. Can you imagine spending the rest of your life on probation in case you gain a pound, while tiptoeing around the elephant in the room? This is the relationship dynamic with one of my uncles and his wife. He told a large number of people at my brother's wedding a few years ago that he was withholding sex because his wife gained 10 pounds after she was wheelchair-bound post-knee surgery. He literally told her, in front of everyone, that when she was back to 135 pounds, he would resume relations. She's over 60 years old, 5 feet 8 inches, has had 3 children, and has chronic illnesses that mess with her mobility, and my uncle is out here pissed off that she was 145 pounds, mind you. He's obese himself and pretty much always has been. The worst part, she agreed with him that she needed to lose weight and apologized. I just don't understand staying in a relationship like that. She's no shrinking violet by any stretch, but she puts up with him. Nice wordplay. I like you. Throw the whole boyfriend away. Original poster. If you know he'd leave you if you gained weight, then what kind of commitment can you really expect of someone like that? What about if you got seriously ill? Or suffered a disfiguring accident? If you don't have a partner who can stand by you through thick and thin, you're wasting your time. He's clearly not oblivious about women's bodies though. He's got yours under a microscope and he's very careful to make sure you don't become one of those fat chicks he's so contemptuous of. Yep. I suspect that's what original poster was reacting to so strongly, if unconsciously. Given that she's a healthy weight, and has expressed no interest in losing weight, his advice comes across as a covert threat: don't drink that smoothie, because then you might get fat, and that's not acceptable for you. Expressing his contempt for fat women on dating websites comes across the same way. Somebody who communicates to their partner, "Wow, thank goodness you're not," thing that is totally within the realm of possibility, like those other members of a group you're a part of, is making sure you know that their love is conditional, and that you shouldn't step out of line. Not saying any of this is overtly going through the boyfriend's head. But his crafty unexamined beliefs, about weight, women, etc., are coming out anyway. The constant diet advice would be making me squint and go, do we have a raving sexist here, or is he so consumed by his struggles he sees everything as a calorie? It would still be annoying and patronizing as F, but I'd bear with him as long as he knocked it off when I told him to. Then, he comment about fat chicks online? Nah mate, now you've shown your butt and the benefit of the doubt is collapsed. He's clearly sexist and believes men can look like whatever, while a woman's role is to be decorative. I used to be with an obese man, and because it didn't bother me, I couldn't initially see what a raving fattest he actually was. It's just that he was so sexist it only applied to women. This attitude of his was not without wider, unavoidable implications for me. Well, I assume he makes comments on diet advice in public, and was willing to insult overweight women in public too. It's double standards. Not the butthole. Not at all. While apologizing probably was the right thing to do, this guy gaslights you severely at every turn. It sounds like pure chaos. It might be best to move along at this point. Let him have his pathologies about weight and find someone else who isn't healthy to share them with. He sounds like a bully and butthole, and while I'm sure he has some good qualities, you haven't described any here. Even his incredibly wounded response to your understandable frustration is him playing the ultimate victim. Original poster replies: he definitely has amazing qualities, but I feel his negative ones really come out in relation to his weight. It's what he's the most insecure about. I also know for a fact that he would leave me if I ever gained weight. Part of why I thought I'm in butthole is specifically because I know how sensitive he is about his weight, especially when it comes to how other people view him. But I was genuinely so shocked by what he said, that I just blurted out a retort. He sounds like the type of guys who genuinely believe that men and women are fundamentally different, and one of those differences is their weight. In a woman, weight is critical. In a man, it's a nice to have. That's why he doesn't see any hypocrisy or double standard in him, an obese man, being disgusted by fat chicks. I also know for a fact that he would leave me if I ever gained weight. Also, you know this and are still with him because? How would he like it if he knew for a fact you'd leave him if he earned less or lost his job? I think you need to reevaluate your own self-esteem in this relationship. Whoa, I missed this. Yeah, F that. Dump his butt. You can do much better. Also, he doesn't want her working out because she'll gain weight. In muscle mass. He's obsessed with a number that only tells a very small story of a person's health. That's not healthy for him or her. He would leave me if I ever gained weight. That right there means this relationship is doomed and you should stop wasting your precious time on him. None of us get through life or pregnancies without body changes of some kind. Your boyfriend values your looks more than you as a person. You deserve a man who will desire you whether you gain 20 pounds or lose a limb or get all wrinkly. Go find someone who loves you for you no matter what, because he is not that person and you deserve so much more. Okay, to me this is terrifying. Weight fluctuates throughout lifespan, and I highly recommend dating someone who will understand that. For what it's worth, Desperate Fat Chick's comment was disgusting. Thank you for calling it out. So why exactly are you with this misogynistic hypocrite? What happens if you get injured, can't work out and gain some weight? Are you planning on having kids with this butthole? I'm sure his opinions on pregnancy-related weight gain are completely ignorant. This guy has shown you that he's not a good person. You can either believe him now or F around and find out when you need him most. His amazing qualities are window dressing on a crack house. Edit to add, by that I mean that he cultivates them, deliberately, to cover up his rotten core. Not the butthole, it wasn't borderline sexist. It was sexist. I guess in his mind, men are the only ones allowed to comment on weight. Time away may be the best thing. It will allow you to assess if you want to waste years with a hypocrite. It's the old men have intrinsic value as humans, women's value is entirely based on pleasing men lie. Not the butthole guys do this all the time. Like it's okay if they are obese, but they expect women not to be even a little overweight. And then they complain about girls who only eat salads. What I want is a woman who will eat pizza with me, and then turn around and only date girls they find acceptably thin. The cool girl TM. I agree it probably wasn't the best time or place to make such a comment, but I too absolutely hate it when fat/overweight men get all mad if fat/overweight women show an interest in them and also call those women desperate when they probably were only matching with thin women who, guess what, due to the rampant fat phobia in society, probably said the same thing about fat men as he did about fat women. It's incredibly hypocritical. He doesn't have to be attracted to fat people, but he also doesn't have to be so incredibly gross about it either. So in this case, I'm going with not the butthole because you said what needed to be said in my opinion. What he said was obnoxious and borderline sexist. And I'm pretty sure I've said the same thing to guys I know who have said similar things. So I mean, if you are the butthole here, so am I with that really biased point bluntly out there, not the butthole. But also, you should just tell him to stop giving you advice if it annoys you. The way you framed this doesn't make it clear if you have communicated that to him, but you should. He can't read your mind. He might not even be aware he's really doing it. We all say a lot of crap throughout the day/week/month/lifetime to fill silences. Original poster replies. Yeah, I do try to tell him gently that I'm not really interested in receiving dieting advice, but he tends to get hurt and say that he's just trying to help. Original poster replies. I added that for context just because I feel part of my outburst is because of underlying feelings or annoyances that I have about his view on weight, women's weight in general, like it's something that he can always have the right to comment on and judge. You really might want to sit down with him and talk more extensively about this. He should really consider therapy for his issues in regard to weight. You also say in another comment you know he'd leave you if you gain weight, and that's just horrible to think about, especially if you want to consider a future with this man. Life will change. You might get pregnant, or injured, or sick or something that might affect your ability to maintain your weight. Do you want a looming thought of I have to meet this guy's standards forever for him to stay with me? I don't know. I'm already annoyed by his views on women's weight and I don't even know the guy. Good luck, I guess. Not the butthole. But your boyfriend is a major one. Hess not only a hypocrite, but Hess also a misogynist. Hess so derogatory towards women and feels it's his place to not only fat shame them, but to also go out of his way to give you unsolicited advice and mansplain your diet and exercise routine to you when he knows perfectly well that this is a passion of yours and you are already very knowledgeable in this area, certainly much more knowledgeable than he is, obviously. You should take this time away from each other as an opportunity to reevaluate your relationship with him and ask yourself if you really want to devote any more time and energy to someone so toxic. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.